I'm Diana King.
I'm Clayton King.
And this is our story.
On June 21st, 2005, it was a Monday, and I was 8 days away from my 31st birthday, and I was diagnosed with brain cancer. My wife gave birth to our daughter the next day, June 22nd, 2005. And a month later, I was in Cedars-Sinai for 4 brain surgeries, 4 cycles of chemotherapy, and 15 rounds of radiation. The radiation melted my brain, so I spent the next 2 years at an acquired brain injury school in Orange County, learning how to basically tie my shoes. And here I am today talking to you.
When Clay was first diagnosed with the brain tumor, we didn't want to acknowledge it. We surely didn't look up. We looked to ourselves, what can we do? And Clay just wanted to do exactly what the doctor said to a certain point and go right back to work. It took the coma and him being completely dependent on others to get him to look up and for me to get back into my faith. So they wanted to do radiation and the tumor was gone, so actually his brain was radiated. Just kept declining. Nobody could figure out what was going on. Saw about 50 different neurologists and he slipped into a coma. On his birthday, June 29th of 2007, when he woke up, he was completely catatonic, couldn't walk, talk, complete infancy stage. All he could do was squeeze my hand for yes or no. Clay was at the point where we were just going in and out of hospitals because nobody could figure it out. And then when he went into the coma in that 6-month period of him declining to the coma, I actually started coming to church. I didn't know it at the time, but my mom had been praying for God to do whatever it took to bring us to our knees. So
guess what he did?
That's exactly what he did.
On a side note, Monday I'm diagnosed with brain cancer. Tuesday she gives birth to our daughter. Wednesday we go get an MRI and find out what they want to do. Friday we go home from the hospital and we rush her back in for emergency D&C because they didn't get all the placenta out of her from the birth of our daughter. So that was a rough week.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And so that's what she was saying. I mean, we are beyond blessed that God has had his hands around us the whole entire time and just getting whatever he had to do to get our attention, and he did. He got our attention very aggressively.
Yeah, he had to be aggressive with us. I truly,
unfortunately.
I mean, this whole series, it was kind of ironic because I guess it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, we were like Pharaoh, like our hearts were so hardened. We did not want to listen. We wanted our lives to be normal. It's like, we don't want to stop. We have a plan. Our plan was I stayed home, he worked, we raised our kids, and that was it. We didn't want any interruptions.
The problem with that is it was our plan.
Yeah.
This is our plan. This is what we want to do. This is what we have figured. This is where we're going. And we didn't acknowledge anybody else but where we're going. And God had to get our attention, and he did.
My mom was encouraging me during this time that Clay was just in and out of the hospitals to go to women's Bible study. And I walked in not knowing anybody and just sat down at a table, and I made friends there that I'll have for a lifetime that truly lifted me up in my darkest moments. It's crazy to think that this was close to 16 years ago. And we still are going through it. Clay still struggles with short-term memory and processing issues. But when it first started, when he finally got to come home of basically living in the hospitals for 6 months and then 2 years at the ABI school, in that process, he would wake up in the morning and eat breakfast, and then an hour later tell me he was hungry. He hasn't eaten anything all day, and he completely would forget that he ate breakfast. And then it was like every 15 minutes he forgot. And then when he went to bed, that day before was black as night, just like 50 First Dates, if anybody's seen that. It was exactly like that. And then his memory just kept getting better and better. We just didn't give up. And now you've co-led Bible studies, encourages men all the time. So God's used it for us to be able to help other people. And then the industry I'm in, I encourage people all the time to not give up, and that God does have a plan. And the Bible verse that got me through it, I mean, it was plastered on my house. I had it on Post-it notes on my computer, in my car. Everybody bought me was Jeremiah 29:11, and I kept claiming it. Okay, God, you have a plan for me, and it's not to harm me, so give me the strength to get through this. Give me the wisdom. What am I supposed to do?
God has been with us from day one, absolutely, and sees us through it every day still. Every day is a struggle in one shape or form of another. But the fact that we are both waking up in a bed under a roof every day, we are beyond blessed.
And we still have each other.
90% of brain injury people across the United States, statistical fact, are divorced. We have been 21 years and beyond blessed.